The Science of Habits, Wise Parenting, helping your child build golden habits. Welcome, dear parents, to today's program, on the journey of raising children. One of the biggest concerns we all share is how to help our children form good habits. Isn't it? Habits not only shape personality but also lay the foundation for future success and happiness. Today, we will explore the secrets behind habit formation from a neuroscience perspective, along with practical methods to help our beloved children build solid foundations for their future. Before we dive into the details, let's go over the main points that will be covered today. First, we will learn about the development cycle of habits, how our brain reacts, and why it's so difficult to break free from negative thoughts or temporary cravings. Second, we'll explore the essential role of curiosity and mindfulness in managing those urges, opening the door to wiser decisions. Next, we'll examine the three core elements of a habit: cue, behavior, and reward, along with a powerful catalyst, craving. And finally, how parents can effectively accompany and guide their children to form good habits through timely encouragement, praise, and turning the whole process into a joyful and positive journey. Let's begin this fascinating discovery together. The amazing science behind habits. You've probably wondered why we do certain things over and over every day without even thinking, almost like a reflex. That's the power of habit. Dr. Judson Brewer, a neuroscientist at Brown University, has shared fascinating research on how habits form in our brain. Most of our habits are unconscious, to the point where we often don't even realize we're being guided by them. This becomes especially hard to manage when we are under stress. Dr. Judd describes how, when we are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, what experts abbreviate as HALT, our prefrontal cortex, the brain's command and decision-making center, seems to shut down. In such moments, we tend to act on instinct and fall back into old habits rather than thinking things through. Think about it. When you feel anxious or have a craving, such as the urge to constantly check your phone, how easy is it to resist? Not very, right? Dr. Judd points out something remarkable. Seemingly harmless habits like uncontrolled snacking or excessive worrying can stimulate the brain in ways similar to addictive substances. A part of our brain, called the orbitofrontal cortex, constantly updates the reward value of each habit. That's why, when given the choice between a sweet chocolate bar and a plate of healthy greens, our brain often craves the chocolate. But the good news is, by bringing curiosity and practicing mindfulness, observing our desires and thoughts without judgment, we can change how we interact with those cravings, and even rewire the brain areas involved. The habit loop: cue, behavior, and reward. Have you ever noticed that habits aren't just physical actions? There are also mental habits, like chronic worrying, overthinking, or judging others. Whether it's a concrete action like sipping wine while cooking, or a mental loop about a past relationship, it all follows a simple three-step loop: cue, right pointing arrow; behavior, right pointing arrow; reward. So what does each step look like? The cue is the trigger that starts the habit. It can be external, like a phone notification, or internal, like sudden anxiety, hunger, or work stress. The behavior is the action that follows: scrolling through social media, grabbing a cookie, or snapping at a coworker. Most of the time, we don't even notice we're doing it until it's already done. Finally, the reward is what happens afterward. While the cue initiates the habit, it's the reward that keeps it going. Our brain tends to favor short-term pleasure over long-term benefit. That's why habits that feel immediately satisfying help us momentarily escape daily stress. And this is what Charles Duhigg, author of The Power of Habit, calls the habit loop: cue, right pointing arrow; routine, right pointing arrow; reward. The power of craving. the catalyst for habit formation. In addition to cue, behavior, and reward, there's one more crucial factor in forming and maintaining habits: craving. Craving is the fuel that drives us to repeat an action until it becomes automatic. Even when we no longer receive a clear external reward. There are two types of cravings to understand. 1. Artificial cravings. These arise from external rewards we choose or are given by others. For example, a child finishes homework and gets to watch a cartoon. The pleasure from watching the cartoon is an artificial reward. 2. Natural cravings. These are instinctive and more deeply rooted. The satisfaction doesn't come from a specific external prize, but from the internal joy of doing something right. So we can see that craving operates on two levels. The first level, especially noticeable in young children, is the desire to be loved, accepted, and acknowledged by parents. A compliment or a warm hug after doing something good becomes a strong motivator. At a deeper level, it's the pure joy and inner pride a child feels after doing something well or overcoming a challenge, just because it's the right thing to do. Our parenting goal is to skillfully start with satisfying artificial cravings, then gradually guide children toward recognizing and nurturing their natural, intrinsic motivation, awakening the inner observer, the power of curiosity and mindfulness. Earlier, we discussed how the brain easily gets hooked on habits that bring instant gratification. So how can we be more proactive? Instead of just reacting? The answer lies in practicing mindfulness and cultivating curiosity. You've probably experienced trying to push away an anxious thought or craving, only to find it clinging even harder. Practicing mindfulness, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment, helps you interact with cravings differently. It creates a precious space, allowing you to pause before acting and make wiser decisions. Dr. Judd Brewer notes that curiosity can bring about meaningful change. So, what should we be curious about? 1. Be curious about your own habit loop. Next time you find yourself repeating a bad habit, try to pause and observe. What triggered it? What behavior did you do? What was the outcome? What short-term benefits did you get? And are there long-term consequences? 2. Be curious about the cues. Instead of resisting or avoiding cravings, emotions, or complex thoughts, open up and accept them as waves passing through. Managing mental cravings is like surfing. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to ride them. 3. Pay more attention to the results, especially the negative consequences of bad habits. Instead of just focusing on short-term pleasure, honestly consider the toll a habit takes on your health, mental well-being, or relationships. The clearer we are about the true cost, the less rewarding those short-term gains seem to the brain, and the more motivated we are to change. Parents as companions. Golden tips to help children build good habits. Once parents understand the science of habits and the power of curiosity and mindfulness, we can apply this knowledge to help our children form positive habits. This is a journey that requires patience and love. So, what can parents do in practice? 1. Define the habit loop with your child. Identify the cue, the routine you want to establish, and a meaningful reward. For example, the cue could be after dinner. The habit is cleaning up dishes together, and the reward is reading a bedtime story as a family. 2. Gently guide your child in the early days. Be prepared for some resistance or unexpected challenges. Stay calm and remind yourself that this is just the beginning. Once the habit is in place, things will become much smoother and require less supervision. 3. Celebrate progress. Notice and acknowledge when your child follows through. Express genuine happiness and pride. No need to fake enthusiasm. A sincere smile, hug, or encouraging touch is enough. For instance, if your child completes their morning routine smoothly before school, say, "Wow, you did great today. Thanks to you, we're ready a little earlier." Want to pick a song for the car ride? 4. Remind them of past successes, especially when your child seems distracted or reluctant. Gently recall a previous achievement. For example, if your child is playing with food at dinner, avoid scolding. Instead, say with a smile, "Hey Dad, Mom, remember this morning how awesome Tit was at finishing breakfast quickly? That let us enjoy our favorite song on the way to school." Tit, want to tell Dad, Mom about your morning win? Then gently nudge them to continue the meal. Remember, even small victories are worth acknowledging. 5. Build on small successes. When your child has almost finished dinner, show surprise and encouragement. "Wow, you're doing such a great job. You've nearly finished your meal. Just 4 more spoonfuls, keep going." And repeat this every day. Whenever the opportunity arises. Achieving the first success is always the hardest part. But once that first win is secured, your child will feel more motivated to go after the second, the third, and many more. Once one good habit is firmly established, the next ones become much easier to build. And your child will gradually become accustomed to creating and maintaining positive things in their life. From good habits to a happy life. The ripple effect. When both parents and children develop a curious mindset and become aware of which habits are helpful and which ones need change, we can start to consciously choose behaviors that bring long-term value to our lives. Good habits, no matter how small, when practiced consistently each day, are like bricks that build a solid house. They help us form healthier relationships, improve both our physical and mental health, and enhance the quality of our work and learning. What's wonderful is that good habits often bring deep satisfaction and are highly self-reinforcing. When you do something positive and experience the benefits, whether it's feeling healthier after exercising, the joy of connecting with a loved one, or the satisfaction of completing a task, you become even more motivated to continue those habits. Over time, this creates a positive cycle that helps us keep growing and becoming better. Dear parents, the journey of building good habits for your child is not always easy. But it is certainly one of the greatest gifts we can offer for their future. With understanding, patience, and love, we can build a strong foundation together, one that helps our children step confidently into life and create a happy, meaningful future. Wishing all of you success on this wonderful journey.